Hello, everyone. Good evening. All right. Okay, let me give you the opportunity to unmute yourselves. All right. Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are you? Sandunmali, how are you? Jayanta, how are you?
Fine.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Good evening. How are you? Nice to
I'm
meet you
fine,
too.
thank you. How about you?
Good. Going well. Not too bad. This is Sandunmali, right?
Yes, I'm Sandhan Malik. Yeah.
All right. Good. Guys, can you all switch on your cameras? I would like to see some faces. First name says, hi, I'm great. That's good. All right, guys. Let's see some faces. Come on, switch on your camera. Okay. Before we get started, Jayanta, how are you? Nice to see your face. You switched it
Yes,
off.
sir. Fine. I'm fine. Thanks.
Good. Can you switch on your camera? I want to see your face.
Sure.
Right. Happy, Sanduni. Guys, can you switch on your cameras real quick? All right. Before we get started, can all of you drop a message on the chat box saying whether you prefer doing the webinar in Sinhala or English? මට message එකක් දාන්න chat box එකේ මේ webinar එක සිංහලෙන් කරත් English වලින් කරොත්ද හොඳ කියන එක. Right? සිංහලද Englishද කියන එක message එකක් දාන්න මට භාෂා දෙකෙන්ම හොඳටම කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right. Most people are saying English. Okay, we're having a lot of English speakers. Okay, both are fine. English. All of English. All right, that's great. Okay, a lot of you are saying English, which is good. Okay, English. Both are fine. Right. Okay. Okay, so majority of you prefer English. So I'm going to continue in English. If any of you can't understand what I'm saying, then I'm more than capable of translating to Sinhala. All right. ඔගොල්ලොන්ට මම කියන දේ කොතනකදී හරි තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මගෙන් අත උස්සලා අහන්න මට ඒක සිංහලෙන් කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. right? ඒකින්ද කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ඕන වෙලාවක බය නැතුව අහන්න මම සිංහලෙන් ඒක පැහැදිලි කරන්නම්. ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න එපා, බය වෙන්න එපා. කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මට සිංහලෙන් පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන්. All right? But for now I will continue in English. Guys, I would like to see some faces, right? I'd like to see you switch on your cameras. What I don't like to see is a blank screen, right? So if you can switch on your cameras, I'll give you maybe 3 minutes. Just quickly switch on your cameras. I know you can hear me because you're responding on the chat box, right? Lakshmi says Tamil translate. Lakshmi, unfortunately, I can't do a Tamil translation. I'm not entirely sure how to translate to Tamil. Sinhala and English is more than possible. Tamil would be tough. I'm sorry. Right? Okay, guys. I'm only seeing two faces. Can I see more faces on the screen? Sanduni, Sachini, why are your camera switched off? Taranga, Nadika. Guys, cameras, I need to see faces. Great. Manjula, Shalomi, good. You guys are switching on the cameras. Good. I can see a few faces. All right, Damit, good. Tejani, how are you? All right. Okay, I'm seeing a few faces. Not much though, but that's all right. We'll get started. Okay, before we get started, we will go into a short introduction about IELTS. All right, about the overall exam. Before we get into essay writing, we'll just go into a small introduction about the overall exam, and then we will go into essay writing. All right. So the reason I'm doing a short introduction is because in most of the webinars that we have had before, one of the things that people have struggled with is that they weren't entirely sure what exactly we were doing. All right. So sometimes they'd come for a reading webinar, but they're not sure, okay, where does reading fall in the overall exam? So some people were confused, right? So because of that, I'm going to go and do a very short introduction, and then we are going to get into the writing test. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So when we talk about the IELTS exam, all right, the IELTS exam is the International English Language Testing System. All right. IELTS is the most recognized English language testing system in the world. You have other competitors like PTE, TOEFL, and other exams like that. But IELTS is the exam with the most amount of recognition. That means the most amount of countries accept this qualification. The most amount of universities, higher education bodies accept the IELTS exam. All right. So this is the most recognized English language testing system in the world. All right. So like I said, countries like the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, any of these countries that you want to go to, you need to have the IELTS exam. And this is a requirement in your visa process. All right. There are 3 types of exams that you can do. All right. You have the general training test, the academic test, and the life skills exam. You also have a separate type of exam called the UKVI. Okay. What UKVI means is United Kingdom Visas and Immigration. Okay. So that only pertains to people who are going to the UK. Okay. UK වලට යන කට්ටියට විතරයි මේ UKVI කියන qualification එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ seal එක අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ UK යන කට්ටියට විතරයි. දැන් UKVI කියන exam එක ගත්තමත් ඒක යටතේ general and academic කියලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලෝ UK වලට යනවා නම් කියන්නේ එංගලන්තයට යනවා නම් you have to do the UKVI general or academic. Otherwise, Australia, Canada, US, any of those other countries, the general or the academic test is more than enough, right? Okay. Life skills is again an exam that is only valid if you're going to the UK. But I don't think any of you will be doing the life skills. It's just for people who are going to work in the UK, right? Okay. Then we talk about the exam format. All right. You have the listening, reading, writing, and speaking test. Guys, the purpose of the IELTS exam is to see if you can go to a foreign country, a foreign English-speaking country, and if you can survive in that country. Okay. Now, if you think about it, if a foreigner comes to Sri Lanka and they can't speak Sinhala, right? They're going to be lost. They can't survive in this country. Of course, we make it a point to learn English to communicate with them, but they never make it a point to learn Sinhala to communicate with us, right? So if you think about the fact that they don't really learn Sinhala and come here, they're going to be lost, right? Similarly, when a Sri Lankan goes to England or Canada or Australia, if we do not know how to communicate in that language, if you don't know to speak English fluently, if you don't know how to type an email, if you don't know how to listen to someone and understand what they're saying, if you don't know how to read something, we are going to be lost. අපිට වෙන රටකට ගිහිල්ලා එංගලන්තේ ඇමරිකාව වගේ රටකට ගිහිල්ලා ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් කතා කරගන්න කියවන්න ලියන්න බැරි නම් අපිට එහෙ ගිහිල්ලා survive වෙන්නත් බෑ අමාරුයි, right? ඒ ඕගොල්ලොන්ට ගිහිල්ලා survive වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක තමයි මේ IELTS කියන exam එකෙන් මනින්නේ, right? Sometimes when you're applying to countries like Australia, if your band score is high, ඕගොල්ලොන්ට high band score එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක නිසාත් ඕගොල්ලොන්ට scholarships එහෙම හම්බෙන්න ලොකු අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. Right? If your IELTS band score is high, if you have got a band 7.5, 8.5, and if you have got a 9, then you can get a scholarship for the qualification that you are applying for. Do you understand? So that is how important the IELTS exam is. IELTS is not just some random exam that you have to do. මේක නිකන් අර කරන්නම් වාලේ කරන්න ඕන exam එකක් නෙමෙයි. මේකට ලොකු value එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? ඔගොල්ලෝ රට යද්දී ඔගොල්ලෝගේ visa process එකේදී ඔගොල්ලෝ university එකකට apply කරද්දී ලොකු value එකක් තියෙනවා. There is a massive value when you are applying to a foreign country. Do you understand? So this is not just some random exam that you do, right? The cost of this exam in Sri Lanka is about 75,000 rupees. Rupial 75,000ක් විතර ඔගොල්ලෝ වියදම් කරන්න ඕනේ IELTS exam එක කරන්න. තේරුණාද? එතකොට මම දන්නේ මෙතන සමහර අයට 75,000ක් කියන්නේ දවසින් විතර උපයන මුදලක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර කට්ටියට මාස දෙකක් විතර යනවා 75,000 කියන මුදල උපයන්න. right? මම දන්නේ කොහොමද ඒ සල්ලි ප්‍රමාණය ඔයගොල්ලන්ට බලපාන්නේ කියලා. නමුත් but right, 75,000 rupees is still a significant amount of money. සැලකිය යුතු මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක්. Right? So you don't want to do this exam again and again and again. මේක ආයෙ කරන එකේ කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ. කරන එකපාර හරියට කරලා හොඳ බෑන්ඩ් ස්කෝර් එකක් ගන්න තමයි ඕගොල්ලෝ බලන්න ඕනේ. You have to try and get the best possible band score in the first try that you sit for the exam. Do you understand? මේක ආයෙ කරන එකේ කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ. It's just a waste of money. අපි නිකන් සුද්ධ පොහොසත් කරන එක විතරයි මේකෙන් කරන්නේ. right? ආයෙ කරන එකෙන්. right? නමුත් අපිට option එකක් නැහැ මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් එකපාරක් කරන්නම වෙනවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ first world country එකකට යනවා නම්. right? When we take the exam structure, the total exam time is 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay? If you are doing the paper-based test, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. If you are doing the computer-based test, it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay? And I'll tell you why that is. So when you take the listening test එක ගත්තම, you have 30 minutes of recording time. Recording එකක් play කරනවා විනාඩි 30ක. There is a recording that is 30 minutes long. You have to listen to this recording and answer 40 questions. මේ විනාඩි 30 recording එකට ඇහුම්කන් දීලා ඔගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රශ්න 40කට උත්තර ලියන්න ඕන. right? Paper based test එක ඔගොල්ලෝ කරනවා නම්, if you are doing the paper based test, then you get an additional 10 minutes. You get an additional 10 minutes at the end of that 30 minutes to check your answers and write it in your answer sheet. You get an extra 10 minutes after that 30 minutes is done to check your answers and write it in your answer sheet. Clear? So altogether you have 40 minutes for the listening test if you are doing the paper-based test. If you are not doing the paper-based test and if you are doing the computer-based test, you don't get 10 minutes, you get about 1 to 2 minutes, that's it, but there is no transferring answers, right? So it's just a 30-minute recording and that's it. Clear? So if you are doing the paper-based test, that's 40 minutes. If you are doing the computer-based test, it's 30 minutes. Then the reading test. So first you have listening, second you have reading. Reading test is 1 hour, 60 minutes, and you have to answer 40 questions. Okay? If you are doing the academic test, you have 3 sections and 3 paragraphs. Okay? 3 sections and 3 paragraphs, 40 questions that you have to answer in 60 minutes. If you are doing the general test, you have 3 sections and about 5 reading paragraphs. Okay, 3 sections, 5 reading paragraphs, 40 questions. Okay, time is the same, 1 hour. Finally, you have the writing test. There are 2 sections in the writing test. If you are doing the academic exam, you have to write a report and an essay. If you are doing the general exam, you have to write a letter and an essay. Do you understand? That is how your 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 40 minutes is made. All right. So you must be thinking, okay, what about the speaking test? Doesn't it fall into this category? No. 2.5 hours is just for listening, reading, and writing. The speaking test is on a different day. When a davasaka tamai speaking test එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කරන්න. Do you understand? The speaking test is done on a different day. All right. So that typically takes about 15 to 18 minutes. And it's usually held either a couple of days before or a couple of days after the main exam. Clear? All right. So that is the structure of the IELTS exam. The listening and speaking tests are the same regardless of whether you do the general or academic exam. The reading and writing tests only have the differences. There are also, when you take reading, academic reading has 3 sections and 3 paragraphs, 40 questions. General reading has 3 sections, about 5 paragraphs and 40 questions. When you take writing, you have, for academic writing, you have the report and essay. For general writing, you have the letter and essay. Today, what we are going to discuss is how to write an essay. How to write an essay to get the best possible band score. Do you understand? How to write an essay to get the best possible band score. All right. How to write an essay to get the best possible band score. Now, I don't know whether you have been to other classes. I don't know whether you have watched any YouTube videos, right? But most people will tell you that in order to write a good essay, you just need to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. All right. They might say, okay, a few things you have to include. But you need to have a thorough understanding of exactly what you need to write in an essay. What are the different parts that you need to write in order to get the best possible band score? How do you formulate your answer? How do you structure your answer properly? How do you manipulate the vocabulary to get the best possible band score? These are things that you have to know before you go for the exam, right? That is what we are going to discuss today. This is common regardless of whether you're doing the general test or the academic test. This is common, right? So I don't know what exam you're doing. It could be general, it could be academic, it could be UKVI general, UKVI academic. It does not matter. For all of you, it's the same thing, right? What we are going to discuss today. All right. We'll discuss how to get to a higher band score when we talk about the writing test itself. But I'm not going to discuss that here, right? Just a few things here. Now, when you're booking the exam, this is a question I get from a lot of people. Where can you book it from? There are 2 places you can book it from, either IDP or British Council. Okay, you can book the exam through IDP or British Council. Another question that I get is, which center is better? Is IDP better or is British Council better, right? And the answer to that question is complicated. I can't directly say British Council is better because I've had students who have come and said, British Council was very bad. The experience was bad. Sometimes the headphones are not working, right? Sometimes they are not very receptive. They don't answer your calls, big problems. Some students have told the same thing about IDP, right? But some students have said British Council is great, wonderful service, everything is working, very helpful. Same thing has been said about IDP. So frankly, both are the same, right? If you get a bad center, that was just the spur of the moment problem, right? It was just a problem you had at that moment. But honestly, there is no difference between British Council and IDP. No center is better than the other one. Both are the same. The exam is the same. Nothing is different. Okay. So that's not a question you need to have. Which center is better? You just book it from wherever and that's perfectly fine. Right. The next question that I get from a lot of people is, when you're writing the essay or when you're doing the IELTS exam, can you write in pen? Panning liyanna puluwanda, panning liyanna bෑ. Right? Penciling tamai ogollo uttara liyanna ඕනේ. essay එක ලියන්න ඕනෙත් pencilenma තමයි. Right? essay එක ලියන්න ඕනෙත් pencilenma තමයි. Okay. All right. ඔගොල්ලෝගේ IELTS test score එක, your IELTS test score is valid for 2 years. Okay, valid for 2 years. It depends on the country you're applying to, but typically it's valid for 2 years. So if you're going next year, do it now. If you're going the year after, that means if you're going in 2026, I would recommend you wait a little bit and do it in 2025. Right? අවුරුදු දෙකක් තියෙනවා කියලා අවුරුදු දෙකකට කලින් කරන්න එපා. මොකද බැරි වෙලාවත් ඔගොල්ලෝගේ වීසා පරක් වුණොත්, ඔගොල්ලෝගේ යුනිවර්සිටි එන්ට්‍රන්ස් පරක් වුණොත්, ඔගොල්ලන්ට ආයෙ එක්සෑම් එක කරන්න වෙනවා. ඊට වඩා හොඳයි අපේ වගේ ක්ලාස් එකකට ජොයින් වෙලා ඔගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරන්න දිගටම එක්සෑම්, ඒ කියන්නේ ඔගොල්ලොන් රට යන්න ලං වෙලා මාස 6ක් 7ක් තියලා එක්සෑම් එක කරා නම් ඔගොල්ලන්ට හොඳටම වාසි. Okay? All right. So that's it for the introduction. So I'm not going to dive too deep into an introduction because our main lesson is essay writing. And that is what we are going to get into, right? Okay, so before we start on essay writing, now I suddenly went into an introduction to IELTS, but let me just give you a brief introduction about myself. I'm Sheshan Dias, and the company that we're operating through is called the Success Academy, right? And we have been mainly doing public speaking training, IELTS training, and spoken English training for the past 5 years. So IELTS we started 2 years ago. Public speaking and spoken English we have been doing for more than 5 years now. When it comes to IELTS, we have helped over 150 students get over band 7+ scores, right? And we have helped more people as well, 200, 250 people get to the scores that they want, because not everyone wants to get a band 7+ score. We have had students who wanted to get band 6, 6.5. Some people who are going to Dubai and all of those countries want to just get band 4, 5, right? Who are going from Dubai to the UK, right? So we have helped students like that as well, but more than 150 students have got band 7+ scores working with us, all right? So in our program, right, so we offer a 10-day IELTS program, right? And in our program, we cover everything from listening, reading, writing, and speaking, right? So we discuss all the lessons, and we do paper practices, we do speaking practices, essay writing practices, and we also give you feedback on essays and speaking. So we have a very special discount for everyone that is on the webinar. We'll talk about that in a bit, but now we will get to IELTS writing. Again, before I get there, do you all have any questions, right? Do you all have any questions that you would like to ask from the introduction and not from what we are going to discuss in a bit, right? So don't ask questions from essay writing because we are going to talk about that, right? But if you have any questions about the introduction that I did, you can ask some questions. Does anyone have questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, do we have any differences between the computer-based and paper-based test in the IELTS examination? Are there any limitations to apply scholarships through?
No, there is no such limitations. In the sense, the only difference between the paper-based test and the computer-based test is the time difference. So in the listening test, you get an extra 10 minutes if you're doing the paper-based test. Computer-based test, you don't get that extra time, but that's it. There is no discrimination when it comes to applying for scholarships or when it comes to the validity of the exam. No such differences. It's the same thing. Do you get it?
Sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Perfect. Salma has asked a question. Sir, can you please explain the intro part again? No, that is not possible, Salma. I'm sorry. No, we haven't got to the essay part yet, Salma. We just discussed an overall introduction to IELTS. So we are going to start the essay part now, right? Okay. Anu has asked, can I join for a physical class? No, we only conduct online classes. right? We only conduct online classes. We'll talk about that in a bit. Any other questions about the introduction? This is not alcohol, by the way. It's water. You must be thinking, oh, the teacher is drinking during the class. All right. If there are no questions, then I'm going to continue. All right. We have one more question, I think. Do you have a plan to train us? Okay, we'll talk about classes in a bit, guys. We'll talk about classes in a bit. But okay, if there are no questions related to the introduction, then I'm going to move forward into essay writing. All right. Okay. We are going to discuss a few things here. We are going to discuss the structure of the overall writing test. And we are specifically only talking about essay writing in this webinar. We are going to talk about how to write a good introduction, body, and conclusion. What exactly needs to be included in each and every one of those. And we are going to be talking about the types of essays. We're not talking about these two today, right? This webinar is just for essay writing. Now, when we talk about the overall writing test, this is the third exam that you will have to face. Okay, what does that mean? First, you have listening, then you have reading, finally, you have writing. So this is the third test that you have to do. All right. You have 2 sections and 1 hour to complete those 2 sections. You have part 1 and part 2, but only 1 hour to finish both. If you're doing the academic test, you have a report and an essay. If you're doing the general test, you have a letter and an essay. Okay. This is how it is. 33% of your mark is given for part 1, whereas 66% of your mark is given for part 2. That means more weight is given for part 2. More weight is given to your essay. Okay. That means you have to give more emphasis to the essay. What a lot of people do is that they try to write the essay first because they think, okay, it's the most important thing. Let me finish it first. I don't recommend that at all. I don't recommend that at all. What I recommend is that you do part 1 first, finish it off as fast as possible, because that leaves you more than enough time to focus and really do part 2 well. We have to take more time. We have to give more attention, more focus to the thing that gives us double the marks. Do you understand? Double the marks. Guys, part 1, you will understand, is not very important. And I don't mean that it's not important to the point where you don't have to write it. No, no, no. It's important, but it's very easy. Okay. Some people believe, oh, report writing is very difficult. Report writing is very hard. All these things. No, report writing is very easy. Very easy. Right. Letter writing is very easy. You can finish it like that. 15 minutes. That's all. Right. In our classes, we teach you exactly how to write reports, letters. Very easy. Okay. No stress. Essay writing is also easy, but you have to know how to write it. Okay. You have to know how to write it, what to include. If all of those things are included, then you can go for the best possible band score. Okay. So 33% of your mark is given for part 1. 66% of your mark is given for part 2. All right. You can only take 20 minutes for part 1. Guys, I keep saying this to so many people. Only a very few or a limited amount of people take this advice. Always keep time. There is always a clock in the exam hall, right? Look at that clock. Don't take more than 20 minutes to complete your part 1 answer. Right? Don't take more than 20 minutes to complete your part 1 answer. In fact, finish it in 15 minutes. It's very easy. 150 words only. The maximum amount of words that you really need to write, not that you can write, need to write, is about 200 words. 15 minutes is more than enough. If you take more than 20 minutes for part 1, you're done. All right, there's no point because you're wasting time that you could have taken for part 2. Okay. So IELTS or Cambridge has recommended 20 minutes. This is not my recommendation. This is the Cambridge recommendation, 20 minutes. My recommendation is 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Write it down. 15 minutes. You have to finish part 1. Does not matter whether you're doing academic writing. Does not matter whether you're doing general writing. 15 minutes has to be done. Right. The word count for part 1 is 150 words. Okay, that's the minimum. If you write less than 150 words, you're going to lose marks. You're going to get a lower band score. If you write more than 150 words, also, you're going to lose marks. No, I'm joking. Right? You can write more than 150 words. There is no upper limit. Okay, there is no upper limit. You can write 200 words, 250 words, 300, 350. No limit. Okay, no limit. But can you write 300 words in 15 minutes? No, you cannot. Okay, so ideally, what I recommend is 175 to 200 words. Write that down, right? 175 to 200 words. That is how much you have to write for your report or letter. Do you understand? That is how much you have to write for your report or letter. Okay. You can write more. You will not get any marks deducted for writing more. Okay. No problem. 225, 250, no problem. But always keep in mind that you have to finish it in 15 minutes. Maximum 20 minutes. Okay. Maximum 20 minutes. Then you have the essay. Okay. The essay takes 40 minutes. All right. The essay takes 40 minutes. Now, the 40 minutes is not only to write the essay. It's to write the essay, check for grammar, spellings, pronunciation. Have you paraphrased it properly? Right? Have you used quality vocabulary? Have you used the right cohesive devices? For all of these things, you have 40 minutes. Do you understand? So if you take more time from here, you're finished. Because you need 40 minutes. You need it. අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. විනාඩි 40ක් essay එක ලියන්න අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. Okay? So don't waste time here. Directly get to this. Finish this and then get to this. It says a minimum of 250 words. At least 250 words. අඩුම වශයෙන් වචන 250ක්. If you write less than 250 words, you're not getting marks. Or you're getting a very low band score. You can write any amount of words upwards of 250. My recommendation is about 300 to 350. All right, 300 to 350. When you write in the structure that I'm going to teach you today, definitely writing 350 words is nothing. Right? Writing 350 words is going to be nothing. Right? Because the structure I'm going to teach you is, it requires you to elaborate your answer, right? It requires you to elaborate your answer. Okay. So 350 words is not going to be a problem. So you don't even have to think about the word count if you follow the structure that I'm going to teach you today. All right. So I hope you're ready to take some notes. I hope you're ready to learn this structure properly, because this will definitely get you to the highest band score possible. Right? Okay. Just a few things to keep in mind about both part 1 and part 2. You should never go off topic. කොහෙද යන්නේ කියලා අහුවොත් මල්ලේ පොල් කියලා ලියන්න බෑ. Right? You can't beat around the bush. You can't go off topic. You have to stay on topic every time. With report writing and letter writing, this is very easy because they don't give you topics that you can't understand. A lot of people struggle with essay writing because they give you topics that you might not be too familiar with. You might not have an idea what to write about. Okay. Or you might not understand the question. If that happens, that's bad for you. All right. Very hard to go to a high band score if you don't understand the question. So first and foremost, you have to understand the question. We'll talk about this in a bit. But keep in mind, don't write anything. Not a single point, not a single example. Nothing can be off topic. Don't write less than the given word limit. That is obvious, right? If you write less than the given word limit, they will reduce the band score. Don't write bullet points, only paragraphs. So always segregate your answer as paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, not point 1, point 2. We are not writing, an O-level or A-level essay where we write sentences. It's always paragraphs. Okay. No memorized answers or copying. Guys, if you go and check out YouTube or sometimes even maybe other classes or the teachers, they might give you target answers for target questions. They'll say copy paste this answer at the exam and you'll get a band 8. That's nuts. All right. Nobody can predict the topics that are going to come for the exam. What I can give you is a template that if you write in that template, in that structure, which is recommended by Cambridge, you can go to the highest possible band score. This is not something that I have magically come up with. This is something that is recommended by Cambridge. All right. So what I'm going to teach you today, if you understand and apply to any essay that you write, guaranteed you can go to a high band score, right? Band 7+ score. You understand? So no memorizing answers. Don't believe when people say, this is the target answer that is coming. This is the exact answer you have to memorize and go. Bull, right? It's nuts. It's not true. All right. So don't ever memorize answers or copy. These instructions I took from the Cambridge website. Okay. This is again not something that I am telling you because I have a problem with other people. No. This is from Cambridge. All right. All right. So for those of you who are doing the paper-based test, this is what your answer sheet looks like. You can ask for as many papers of these as you want, right? If you're doing the computer-based test, you have a box in which you have to type your answer. That's very convenient because you can erase things and, it's very easy, right? Here, you're writing with pencil. In the paper-based test, you're writing with pencil. So again, you can erase it. It's not too difficult, right? It's not like writing with a pen and then having to cut everything. All right, so it's very convenient. Okay. Now, you got an idea about the overall writing test. Now we are going to discuss the marking criteria. Okay. Not a lot of people teach this, but it's very important for you as a student who is going to face the IELTS exam to understand what are they giving marks for. Okay. What are they giving marks for? Why is my band score low? Right? Why is my band score low? Why have I lost more marks than I thought I would? My English is good. So why have I lost marks? That's because you didn't know the proper marking criteria. You didn't know what the examiner was expecting you to write. So understand what I'm going to teach you extremely well. Okay, understand what I'm going to teach you 100%. Right? I'll give you a time to ask questions. Okay. There are 4 marking criteria for part 1 and 4 marking criteria for part 2. Number 1, 3, 4, 5 is for task 1. I'll say that again. Number 1, 3, 4, 5 is for task 1. Number 2, 3, 4, 5 is for task 2. Clear? So that means these 3 are common to both. This is for part 1. This is for part 2. Clear? I hope you understood that. Now, when we talk about task achievement, okay, task achievement and task response essentially is the same thing. They are looking for the content of your answer. How well have you structured it? What is the content? Have you given good examples? That's what they're looking for. But there is one main segregation. There is one main difference. Okay. In task achievement, that means for task 1, regardless of whether you are writing the letter or the report, they do not encourage your personal opinions. If you look at a report and if you write, I think that this line has gone from point A to point B because of this reason, you're wrong. They will not give you marks for that. No opinions in part 1. I won't focus too much on that, but I'll go to part 2 and I'll explain it. Part 2, task response, right? Opinions are heavily encouraged. You have to have an opinion for every essay that you write. Again, if you go and check on other places, they will tell you there are certain types of essays where you don't have to write an opinion. No, nonsense. Every single essay you write, you have to have an opinion about that essay. Agree or disagree, have an opinion. Advantage or disadvantage, have an opinion. Problem and solution, have an opinion, right? Every single type of essay that you write, you need to have an opinion about the question which they have asked. Do you understand? Without having an opinion, there is no way that you can write a proper conclusive answer. Clear? You need to have a proper opinion on that topic. And I'll explain how to write it, where you need to write it and all of that. But keep in mind, whatever essay you're writing, the words I believe, in my opinion, according to my view, according to my perspective, I believe that, one of those words, one of those phrases have to be there at some point throughout the essay. Clear? essay එකක් ලියද්දී අනිවාර්යෙන් තමාගේ ඔපීනියන් එක, මගේ ඔපීනියන් එක මම ලියන්නම ඕනේ. right? ඒක තේරුණා කියලා මම හිතනවා. The next one is lexical resources. Lexical resources. Lexical resources is just another word, is just a more fancier word for quality vocabulary. Quality vocabulary. හොඳ වචන. Quality වචන. Right? For example, now if you're writing an answer and you're saying something has increased. Okay. Let's say the carbon dioxide emissions in Sri Lanka has increased over the past 5 years. Okay. The cause for this increase is that a lot of companies have been polluting the environment by putting out plastic into the environment. This increase is a result of, now we are saying increase many times. What does the examiner understand? වැඩි වෙනවා කියන එකට. When something is going up, the only word that this person knows how to use is increase. When something is going up, the only word you know how to use is increase. Then can the examiner give marks? No, because your vocabulary is limited. You have limited vocabulary. But if you say increased, grew, expanded, significantly expanded, right? Dramatically went up, skyrocketed. If you use better vocabulary than that simple word of increased, you can go for a higher band score. Do you understand? You can go for a higher band score. So what they want you to do is use quality vocabulary. The easiest way to do this is to use as many synonyms as possible. That means similar words. Now, instead of writing the basic words, try to write similar words, right? More quality synonyms, right? That is lexical resources. Grammatical range and accuracy. I'm not going to explain that in too much detail because it's fairly obvious. You have to maintain correct grammar, spellings, right? That needs to be included. So if your grammar is wrong, if your spellings are wrong, then they are going to reduce the amount of marks that you get, right? Correct grammar is certainly important, okay? But that being said, unless your grammar is really bad and you can't write, you don't have to go and learn grammar from scratch, right? That is pointless, right? Because if you have 1 month or 2 months for the exam, even if you go to the best class in the world, right, you are not going to be able to learn grammar 100%. So it's just a waste of your time, right? If you have 1 or 2 months for the exam, I'll tell you how to practice in a way that will increase your grammar capacity as well, right? That will improve your ability to write in better grammar or speak in better grammar as well. I'll talk about that in a bit. But essentially, if your grammar is wrong, if your spellings are wrong, if your punctuations are wrong, your band score is going to be low, right? Finally, the fifth, or rather the fourth marking criteria for both letter writing, report writing, and essay writing is coherence and cohesion. Now, since we are talking about essay writing, I'm going to tell you what coherence and cohesion means for both of those. Coherence is the overall ability to keep your answer in relation to the question. That means the overall connectivity of your answer to the question, right? Have you been on topic the entire time? Topic එකෙන් පිට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ coherence කියන එක නැහැ කියන එක. Right? If you have written things that are not related to the question, that means you didn't have coherence. Coherence means connectivity, the overall connectivity of your answer, right? The overall structure of your answer, the introduction, the body, the conclusion. Cohesion is the connectivity between your lines and paragraphs. How have you connected each of your ideas together? How have you connected each of your paragraphs together? What do you have to use for this? You have to use proper cohesive devices. We'll talk about the cohesive devices in a bit, but that's what you have to know. So coherence කියලා කියන්නේ සමස්තයක් වශයෙන් ඔයාගේ උත්තරේ ගත්තම ප්‍රශ්නෙට බද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවද? ඔයා ලියලා තියෙන points examples ප්‍රශ්නෙට බද්ධ වෙලා යා වෙලා තියෙනවද? Are your points, your examples connected to the question? Cohesion means, are your ideas and paragraphs linked to each other? Are your ideas and paragraphs linked to each other? ඔගොල්ලෝගේ අදහස් සහ paragraphs එකිනෙකට බද්ධ වෙලා තියෙනවද? එකිනෙකට link වෙලා තියෙනවද? මේකට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඕනේ cohesive devices. For this, you have to use cohesive devices, connecting words, right? Connecting words. We'll talk about how to use them in just a bit. But I hope you understood the marking criteria. I hope you understood the marking criteria. Okay. If you have any questions, just put it into the chat box. I'll answer them at a specific time. Okay. This is the same thing, right? I've just elaborated on it. Okay. The next thing, the next step is planning your answer. Now, before you start writing, you have to plan your answer. Okay. Part 1, you don't have to plan. Part 1, like I told you, is very easy, right? Stress-free. Part 2, you have to plan, because if you don't plan, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Why? Because now imagine you decide to agree with the particular question, right? You have an agree or disagree type question. You decide to agree with the question. When you're writing the second paragraph, you realize, oh no, I don't have an example to write in the second paragraph. What am I going to do? I can't not write an example. I lose marks. Now I have to erase everything and I have to disagree and write again, because I have 2 examples for that. If you don't plan, there is a I would say a 30 to 40% chance that you will get stuck in the middle. So always plan what you're going to write and organize it before you start writing. Planning is very simple, right? Planning is very simple. This is all you have to do. I will put it into the chat box. All right. Planning is very simple. You first have your body paragraph. So body paragraph 1, what is the point you're going to write? What is the example you're going to write? Body paragraph 2, what is the point you're going to write? Okay. And what is the example you're going to write? If you know this, sorted. Because you can write 2 body paragraphs with 2 good examples. You must be thinking, oh, what about my introduction? What about my conclusion? Don't I have to plan those things? No, don't bother about it. Don't bother about your introduction or conclusion, because your introduction and conclusion 100% depends on your body paragraph. Okay. Your body paragraph is the most important section of your essay. So when you're planning, plan what you're going to write in your body paragraphs. Typically, 2 body paragraphs are more than enough, right? More than enough. And that is all you need to plan. Okay, that is all you need to plan. You don't have to plan your introduction or conclusion. Do you understand? So you plan and you organize. Okay, what's my first body paragraph? What's my second body paragraph? Then you write your answer. So you need to take 5 minutes for this. විනාඩි 5ක් ගන්න ඕනේ මේක කරන්න, plan කරන්න. Right? මම chat box එකට දැම්මා කොහොමද plan කරන්නේ කියන එක. Right? Here. ලියන්න විනාඩි 30යි, 30 minutes to write. 30 minutes to write your essay. Now, before I told you have 40 minutes, but already 5 minutes are gone. Now you have 30 minutes to write your essay. Finally, you have 5 minutes to evaluate and revise. Evaluate කියලා කියන්නේ, evaluate means you have to go and check, are my words quality enough? Are my phrases quality enough? Are my sentences quality enough? Do I have to rewrite them with quality vocabulary? Do you understand? Do I have to rewrite them with quality vocabulary? All right. If I have repeated the same words again and again, what are the synonyms that I can use instead of certain words to make my answer sound better? Right? To show the examiner that I have a wide vocabulary. That is evaluating. Paraphrasing your answer and writing better vocabulary. Evaluating. Revising means 3 things. You have to check your grammar, spellings, punctuation. Grammar, spellings, punctuation. Grammar, spellings, punctuation. These 3 things you have to check when you're revising. Do you understand? 5 minutes for this. 5 for this, 30 for this, 5 for this. How much? 40. Right. If you were smart and if you finished your part 1 answer in 15 minutes, now you have extra 5 minutes. There you can just check everything. Make sure you're neat, you're organized, and you're ready to hand over the paper. Right? That's being smart. Otherwise, till the last minute, till they collect the papers, you're writing. Right? බොරුවට ලියනවා. කිසිම plan එකක් නැහැ. Practice කරලා නැහැ. බොරුවට ලියනවා. Right? No point. No point. You have to know exactly what to write, where to write, how to write, and then you can manage your time very easily. One of the biggest problems people have is managing their time, but managing your time is not a problem if you know how to write and you have practiced. Okay. All right. We have discussed all of this, guys. All of this I have told you before. Even this one, right? Do task 1 first and then do task 2. Finish task 1 in 15 minutes and keep 45 minutes for part 2. So everything has been discussed here, right? Okay, now we are going to look at the structure of the essay. This is the overall structure. Before we get into this, I will give you an opportunity to ask questions. Okay, I will give you an opportunity to ask questions. So we have got a question in the chat box. Atif has said, no, before that, Dilrukshi has asked, which mode is recommended by you, paper-based or computer-based? Again, guys, that it's a personal preference, right? Like I prefer the paper-based test, right? I can write well, right? The problem for me when it comes to computer-based tests is that there is no autocorrect, right? And when I type very fast and I just let autocorrect do its job, which is correct my spellings. So I don't bother about spellings, just type, very fast. And when you go with that practice into the exam, you make so many spelling mistakes and sometimes even grammar mistakes that you could have easily avoided if you did the paper-based test, right? Because when you're writing, you don't make those same mistakes. You can't write as fast as you can type, right? So my personal preference is paper-based, but it really depends on you. If you're someone that is diligent, if you're someone that is focused, smart, and is able to type at a slower pace while giving attention to your spellings and grammar, there is nothing wrong with the computer-based test. All right, there is no stress when it comes to the computer-based test. There is no difference. All right, so it's really up to you, right? Atif has asked, sir, could you please explain what is coherence? Yes, coherence is the connectivity of your answer to the question. Every point you write, every example you give, everything, every paragraph you write has to be directly connected to the question. For example, now if they're asking, social media is bad for children, do you agree or disagree? In your first paragraph, you need to write a point and you need to give an example and say, I agree that social media is harmful to children because it gets them addicted and they spend hours not being able to focus on anything else. Okay, so I agree. Now that directly connects to the question. It says that you agree and you're giving a point and an example, right? So if you do that throughout your essay, it means you have good coherence. Everything you say, you have connected it to the question. I hope that answers your question. Atif, is that clear? If it is yes, you can say yes.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem. Priyangika has said, can you describe more about how to write? Yeah. We'll get into that, right? I haven't done that yet. So like I said, I'm going to explain this in a bit. So I'm going to ignore that question. Kavinka has said, right, that the prices of the computer-based test has been reduced, right, to 70K. No, it's now at 63,000, right? Right, good. So the prices have been reduced because of the exchange rate, right? That's fine. But it's still, like I said at the beginning, a significant amount of money to spend. All right. So my point was, do the exam one time and get through, right? Do the exam one time and get through. Don't fail and repeat and fail and repeat. It's pointless, right? Waste of your time. Tarushi has asked the question, but anyway, thanks, Kavinka, for mentioning that the prices have gone down to 63,000. Okay, good. Small question Tarushi has asked. Suppose we are using different words to show that we know more than one word. But if the spelling is wrong, do they reduce the marks? Absolutely. If the spellings are wrong, they reduce the marks. If the context of using that word is wrong, they reduce the marks. That means you can't just use a big word without knowing the correct meaning of it. Do you understand? I've seen some people do that. Like they just use big words because they have heard of it, but they don't actually know what is the correct meaning of that word, right? When that happens, also they will cut marks. So if you don't know synonyms, don't try to use big words just for the sake of it. Just write a basic answer. That's fine. If your spellings are wrong as well, they will reduce marks. So wherever is possible, use quality vocabulary. If it is not possible to use quality vocabulary, fine, use basic vocabulary. You will still get more marks than writing answers with incorrect spellings. Tarushi, does that answer your question? Tarushi, I hope that answers your question. Okay. Someone has asked, sir, computer based අයට එක බෑන් ස්කෝ එකක් අඩු වුණොත් ඒක විතරක් ලියන්න පුළුවන්ලු. මෙහෙමයි. ඒක ලියන්න විතරක් ඔයා permission ගන්න ඕනේ ඔයා apply කරන university එකෙන් එහෙම නැත්නම් visa center එකෙන්. right? මොකද සමහර විට visa දෙද්දි දැන් මගෙත් කියන්නේ මං ගාවට අලුතෙන් ආපු ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක්ට ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ තිබ්බා. එයා බෙලාරුස් වල ඉඳලා UK යන්න තමයි ආවේ. එතකොට එයා මංගාවට එද්දී already එකපාරක් කරලා band 8 එකක් තිබ්බ යාට. right? band 8 එකක් තිබ්බ overall. හැබැයි එයාට ඒ කියන්නේ හැම කියන්නේ මේ sections හතරටම යාට band 7.5 above තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා මේ stipulation එකක් තිබ්බා. හැබැයි යාට මං හිතන්නේ එකකට 7.5 ඒ කියන්නේ 7 එකක් ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බා. කියන්නේ reading writing කියන්නේ speaking වලට 9 reading වලට 8.5 listening වලටත් 8.5 මම හිතන්නේ writing වලට යාට 7 එකක් ඇවිල්ලා ඒ වගේ මොකක් හරි වෙලා තිබ්බා. කොහොම හරි එයාට ඒක විතරක් රිපීට් කරන්න අවස්ථාවක් දුන්නේ නැහැ. right? එතකොට එයා මංගාවට ආවේ හතරටම band 8 plus ගන්න ඕනේ කියලා මට requirement එක දීලා. right? එතකොට එයාට එකක් විතරක් කරන්න දුන්නේ නැහැ. සමහර අයට ඒ අවස්ථාව දෙනවා. ඒක depend වෙන්නේ තමා apply කරන university එක එහෙම නැත්නම් තමා apply කරන රටේ visa process එක අනුව. okay, ඒක it's not available to everybody. It depends. right? Dilrukshi has asked the question, will you check our essays individually in the class? Yes, you will get individual feedback in the class. Absolutely. Right? If you join our class, you will get individual feedback for your essays and your speaking. Okay, essays and speaking, you will get individual feedback. Don has asked, sir, is the recorder provided at the end of the class? Yes, there's a YouTube live right now, so it will be uploaded onto YouTube at the end of the class. But I'll be giving a discount code for our class in a bit. You can only get that if you stay not to the end. I'll be giving it within the next 10 minutes probably. Right? And then also at the end, but try to stay in the webinar. You know, you can ask questions. It's live. It's not like watching a video. Right? Chandana has said, sir, you said IELTS validity only 2 years. After complete 2 years, we have to face again the IELTS exam. Yes. Yes. Like I said, sometimes even 2 years, it might not be valid, right? In certain cases, they might ask. That's why I said like 6 months before, 8 months before, that's the best time to do the exam, right? Don't try to wait too long. Don't try to do it 2 years ahead. Pointless. You'll have to redo it again, right? Because even after you go to Australia, Canada, US, UK, you have to do this exam 1 or 2 times. Like I've had people who are living in Australia. They have already done the exam and gone, right? But again, they have to do. Again, they have to do and get a higher band score, right? In order to remain in the country. That is also there, right? So, you know, you don't have to, what happens to some students is they do it here in one class, then they go there and again they have to join classes and do it. Don't do that. The one time you learn it fully, and then, you know, go and you can do it anytime you want, right? Okay, last question. Sir, do we have speaking practices throughout the classes? Yes, so we have a special session for speaking practices, and then outside of that, we encourage you to keep sending us recorded videos of you practicing, and then we give you feedback on that, right? Outside of that, you also get one individual session with me, one-on-one, to work on your speaking, right? So that's what you get when you join the classes. Another question we have, sir, can you explain the process in your class? Yes, I will do that now, right? Okay, so we'll get it back into the webinar. I'll explain the process of the class, right, in just a bit. Give me one moment. Now, when we write the essay, already you know, everybody knows this. You need to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay, introduction, body, and conclusion. Just knowing this is not enough. This is nothing. Everybody knows this. If you ask a grade 5 student what is included in an essay, they'll tell you our introduction, body, conclusion. Everybody knows this. This is not what you have to write at the IELTS exam, right? We are going to dive into detail about what is in the introduction, what is in the body, what is in the conclusion. That is what we are going to discuss. All right. Before we get there, let me tell you very briefly about our classes. All right. Now, we have a 10-day IELTS program, 10 days. Okay. In these 10 days, we are going to do lessons on listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Okay. We are going to do comprehensive lessons. In these lessons, exactly like this, we are going to teach you how to write an essay, how to write a report, how to write a letter, how to speak in the proper structure, what are the marking criterias, what are the tips, tricks, techniques to answer the questions in the reading test, what are the techniques to answer the listening test, how to get to the highest possible band score, what are the question types. All of these are discussed in the lessons. Then we have mock practices, right? We discuss papers with you, right? We discuss papers with you and we give you 50 plus papers to practice at home. Any questions you have, you can clarify in the class because all sessions are conducted live, right? So any problems, any questions, any issues that you have, we will clarify during the classes. Then you will also get one-on-one speaking practices, right? So one session individually with me, everybody will get, right? Outside of that, you also get to practice in a group setting. Okay, you're speaking. Then you can send as many recorded videos as you want of you practicing your speaking. We will give you feedback on that, how to improve, what to improve, what's the band score, all of those things. Any amount of essays that you sent will be corrected and given feedback on, right? Outside of that, you will also get access to our video course, which means all lessons are recorded and given to you before even the classes start, which means even if you miss a class, that's perfectly fine. You have access to the video course. Okay, so everything is covered here. Paper discussions, lessons, everything. It's in the video course. You get a study pack, right, to understand. So all our slides, all our lecture slides are included in the study pack. Outside of that, you get vocabulary sheets, you get cohesive devices, you get extra practices, all of these things in the study pack. Essay writing feedback, speaking feedback, mock practice tests. The best part about all of this, right, is that you get to join unlimited batches. That means if you're doing your exam, let's say in December, you can still join our May batch and join all the batches till December for free. All right. So if you join in May, you don't have to pay again. Even if you're doing the exam in December, you can just keep joining June, July, August, September, October. That is more than 40 to 50 classes for free, right? For free, because we are only charging you for this, right? We're only charging you for the 10 classes. After that, any amount of batches you can join free. Even next year, no problem, right? Usually our program is sold at 25,000 rupees, but today, if you send a special discount code that I'm going to put in the chat box right now, you will get a 5,000 rupee discount, a 20% discount, right? So classes are conducted every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. That means every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 in the night. Okay. I am going to put the code, the discount code into the chat box, right? I have put it into the chat box. You need to send us this code today if you want the discount. Okay. If you send it tomorrow, no discount. If you send it on Saturday, no discount. The discount is only valid today. All right. So you don't have to pay today. You don't have to pay today. You just need to send us the discount code, right? And we will reserve your slot for the next batch, which is starting on the 9th of May. That is next week. The 9th of May, we are starting, right? So you need to send the discount code to us now, to this number, right? Ashane, he will message you on the group, right? This is the number, guys. This is the number. We will put a message on the group again, so you can just WhatsApp to that number, no problem, right? This is the number. Just take a picture or a screenshot of this. The code has been sent on the chat box, right? But like I said, you have to send the code today. Tomorrow onwards, no discount, right? It's only valid today. All right. So for 20,000 rupees, you're getting unlimited classes. That's the best part. All right. No other class in the country offers this program. All right. Definitely not at this quality. All right. So you've been here. You know what I teach like, right? We have another teacher as well, exactly like me. All right. So what we deliver is just pure quality. All right. Okay. With that being said, I'll give you a reminder later on. But now let's get back into the webinar. Okay. Now, guys, like I told you, the essays that you get at the IELTS exam is not like your typical O-level, A-level essays. These are real quality content. Real quality content, right? Just read this. Some people view conflict between teenagers and parents as a necessary part of growing up, while others view it as something negative which should be avoided. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Guys, how many of you have really thought about examples for this kind of topic? How many of you have had this debate at home? How many of you even understand this topic fully? That's the question, right? Therefore, essay writing at IELTS is not something you should take lightly. You have to practice at least 15 to 20 essays in the structure that I'm going to teach you in order to get to the best possible band score. At least 15 to 20. Okay. All right. We'll look at some more examples after we have discussed how to write the best possible introduction at the IELTS exam. Okay. This is how you write the best possible introduction at the IELTS exam. Guys, very simple. All right. Every single question that you get, every single essay that you get, in the introduction, there are three things that you have to show the examiner. Three things. One, you have to show that you understood the question. Because if you don't understand the question, the examiner will not give you marks. No marks. How can he give you marks if what you have written does not tally with the question? So if you don't understand the question, don't even think about getting marks. So the first thing that you have to do is show the examiner that you have clearly understood the question. How are you going to do that? You have to paraphrase the fact-based statement. You have to paraphrase the fact-based statement. Okay, you must be thinking, what is the fact-based statement? Okay. If you look at any question, first of all, you have a statement. Then you have the question. In their advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. That's a statement, right? This is not a question. This is a statement. In their advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. Look at this one. Many people say we have a responsibility to look after the elderly people in our family or community. That is not a question. That is just a statement. The problem with society today is that it is essentially unbalanced, with some people being paid huge salaries to work very long hours, whilst others do not have a job and too much time on their hands. There is no middle ground. That is not a question. That is just a statement. Then they ask the question, do you agree or disagree? Why is it important to take care of them, right? Why is this? Is this a positive or negative development? This statement is what you have to show the examiner that you understood. Showing the examiner you understood this statement is called paraphrasing the fact-based statement. Guys, there is no question in the history of IELTS where they have not given you a statement. This statement you have to write in your own words. තමාගෙම වචනෙන් මේ දීලා තියෙන statement එක ඕගොල්ලෝ ලියන්න ඕනේ. ඇයි ඒ ලියන්නේ? එහෙම ලිව්වම examiner දන්නවා මේ පුද්ගලයාට ප්‍රශ්නේ තේරිලා තියෙනවා. ප්‍රශ්නේ තේරුම් නැත්නම් ඔයාට ලකුණු දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක නිසා introduction එකේ in the introduction the first thing that you have to do is paraphrase the fact based statement. How do you paraphrase the fact-based statement? කොහොමද fact-based statement එක paraphrase කරන්නේ? The easiest way to do it, beginner level එකේ කරන්නේ in this same structure මේ දීලා තියෙන විදියටම වචන ටික වෙනස් කරන එක. දැන් මෙතන කියනවා in the advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. Hari, advertising වෙනුවට අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් marketing. In their marketing, businesses වෙනුවට අපි දානවා companies. In their marketing, companies nowadays වෙනුවට අපි කියනවා in today's context කියලා. In their marketing, companies in today's context usually වෙනුවට typically emphasize වෙනුවට highlight that their products වෙනුවට goods and services are new කියනවා වෙනුවට innovative. එතකොට in their marketing, companies in today's context typically highlight that their goods and services are innovative in some way. ඒකට ලොකු බෑන් ස්කෝර් එකක් දෙනවද? දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඇයි? Basic. Right? That's basic. මොකද එකම structure එකේ වෙන වෙන වචන යොදලා තමයි ඕගොල්ලෝ උත්තරේ ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඒත් හොඳ බෑන් ස්කෝර් එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද සමහර අය ඉන්නවා මේකම ලියනවා. කිසිම වෙනසක් කරන්න දුන් ඒගොල්ලෝ ලකුණු කොහොමද දෙන්නේ? Right? නමුත් ඕගොල්ලෝ synonyms use කරලා සමාන පද use කරලා ලිව්වොත් එහෙම ඕගොල්ලොන්ට යම්කිසි බෑන් ස්කෝර් එකක් හම්බෙනවා. පැහැදිලිද? යම්කිසි බෑන් ස්කෝර් එකක් හම්බෙනවා. නමුත් මේක තමයි beginner level එක. මෙන්න මම දීලා තියෙන example එක තමයි moderate medium level එක. Right? In today's context, most businesses tend to highlight the novelty of their products in their marketing campaigns. එහෙම නැත්නම් companies today often emphasize that their products are innovative or fresh in some aspect of their advertising. මෙතනදී අපි sentence structure එක වෙනස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව අපි synonyms use කරලා තියෙනවා. Right? That will get us to a higher band score. Okay. In order to go to a more advanced level, you can write things like quotes, right? You can start off with maybe a short story, an anecdote, right? Things like that can be done, but this is more than enough to go for a band 7+ score. All right, you can go for a band 7+ score. All you have to do is change the structure, use synonyms, and paraphrase the fact-based statement. Do you understand? Paraphrase the fact-based statement. Okay. හරි. ඒක තේරුණා කියලා මම හිතනවා. ඒක තමයි දැන් අපි introduction එකක් ලියද්දි කරන්න ඕන පළවෙනිම දේ. The second thing that we have to do is to write our opinion. දැන් මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කිව්වා, I told you that a part of your marking criteria is that you have to have an opinion about any essay that they give. That you have to show in the introduction itself. First, you need to show the examiner that you understood the question. Secondly, you need to give the examiner an idea about what is your opinion regarding that question. Here, what are they asking? Do you think this is a positive or negative development? You have to say, I believe this is a positive development, or I believe this is a negative development. My opinion has to be written. Is that clear? I believe that highlighting a product's originality is a smart marketing move. That means it's a positive development. And the majority of businesses do this as a disruptive marketing tactic in an effort to increase their market share. I believe. Right? Very important. Your opinion. This one, guys, nobody writes this. Okay? I've got a lot of people who have gone for the exam, not got the relevant band score. They have gone for other classes also. And they come and they write essays. They never have this. This is so important because this sentence shows the examiner that you have planned before writing the answer. Nobody plans and nobody writes this, but this gives you so much value, right? The structure of the remaining essay. First, you show the examiner that you understand the question. Then you give the examiner your opinion about the question. Thirdly, you tell the examiner how you are going to defend your answer, your opinion. Do you understand that? You need to say, I am going to use 2 examples to defend my point of view. I am going to use 2 examples to explain my perspective. You need to write that. All right, look at this. I have presented 2 supporting reasons to validate my stance, followed by a conclusion. How clear is this introduction? When the examiner reads this, he knows, okay, this guy has understood the question. Okay, this is his opinion. He thinks this is a positive development. Perfect. He has told me that he is going to have 2 body paragraphs. Why? 2 supporting reasons means 2 examples, which means you're going to write 2 paragraphs. How clear, guys? What is there to cut marks in this structure? Nothing, right? This is the way to write the perfect introduction for your essay. Clear? You go and check anywhere. They'll teach you parts of this. Sometimes these 2 are there. Most of the time, this is not there in most essays, right? Most of the essays, this is not there, right? You have to include this. This shows that you have clearly planned, because you can't write this without having planned. So if you plan the way I told you, you can easily write this sentence. So all 3 of this makes your complete introduction. In today's context, most businesses tend to highlight the novelty of their products in their marketing campaigns. I believe that highlighting a product's originality is a smart marketing move, and the majority of businesses do this as a disruptive marketing tactic in an effort to increase their market share. I have presented 2 supporting reasons to validate my stance, followed by a conclusion. Do you understand? It's very clear. You are showing the examiner that you have understood the question. You're telling him what is your opinion. You're telling him how you are going to defend that opinion. Do you understand? This is the way to write any introduction. Doesn't matter what type of essay it is. It is advantages and disadvantages, right? Doesn't matter if it's a problem and solution. Doesn't matter if it's 2 direct questions. Anything you write in this way. Clear? All right. Then we go into the most important part of any essay, right? Most important part of any essay, and that is the body paragraph. Every essay you write needs to have 2 body paragraphs. It can't be less than 2, which means it can't be 1. If you write 1 body paragraph, that means it's not a complete essay. Can you write 3 or 4? Yes, you can, but you have to pay attention to the time. Okay, because to write 3 body paragraphs, it might take more than 30 minutes. To write 4 body paragraphs definitely will take more than 30 minutes. All right, so you have to pay attention. 2 body paragraphs are more than enough to get to a band 7+ score, guaranteed, right? Most of the students who go from me, they don't write more than 2 body paragraphs because they understand that it's not needed, it's not necessary, right? If you want, you can write 3, no problem. Worst case scenario, but 4, you're just wasting your time. Okay, it's pointless, pointless. All right. How do you write the best possible body paragraph? Now here, what you have to understand about your body paragraphs, right? What you have to understand about your body paragraphs is that each of your body paragraphs is like a mini essay. It's like an essay within your essay. Okay, it's like an essay within your essay. So every essay, what does it have? It has an introduction, body, and conclusion. Similarly, your body paragraphs need to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. I'll say that again. Every single body paragraph needs to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'll give you an example. Now here, your topic sentence, this is your introduction. This is your first point, right? If we take that example of, okay, we'll take the same one, right? In the advertising, businesses nowadays usually emphasize that their products are new in some way. Okay, now we are saying this is a positive development. Why? If we emphasize that our product is in some way innovative, right? Some way it's new. Look at the iPhones that are coming up, right? If you take iPhone 13, 14, and 15, there is honestly not much of a difference between the three phones. Slight difference. Maybe the chip is faster. Maybe the camera is just a bit more quality, right? Just a little bit of innovation, but they sell like crazy and they up the price like nothing, right? It goes from about $1,000 for iPhone 13 to maybe $1,500 for iPhone 14. So what does the company get? What does the business get? Money. They can increase their sales and revenue. That is my first point. That is what I'm going to write here. By advertising their products as new and innovative, companies can increase their sales and revenue. That's my topic sentence. That's my introduction. Then I explain it, right? I can say that if a company markets its product as innovative, more consumers will purchase this new product, which will result in more revenue and sales for the company. This is my body. Okay, this is the second part of my body, the example. Guys, your body paragraph is not complete. Your body paragraph is not complete unless you write an example. Do you understand? It's not complete unless you write an example. It's pointless, right? There are three types of examples that you can write. Either you can write a personal example, a known example, or general knowledge example. What do those mean? Personal example means something from your personal experiences. Okay. Maybe you have sold some product which you have branded as new or innovative, and more people have purchased it and you have earned more money. Or you can talk about a known experience. Someone you know, your father, mother, cousin, your neighbor has done this. This is the best example you can use. General knowledge example, generic example. Not an example that is related to you, but an example that everybody would know. iPhone example, everybody will know. Examiner will know, you will know, anyone will know, right? Therefore, the examiner can understand it faster, which means you will get the relevant mark. Personal examples are not bad, right? But they are not the best. Okay, they're not the best. Generic examples are the best. This, again, is something that not a lot of people teach, but is so important. Okay, this conclusion is where you connect your body paragraph to the question. So what do you do in this conclusion? First of all, you summarize your points. You summarize the point that you made in this body paragraph. That is number one. Secondly, you connect it to the question by saying, because of these reasons, I believe this is a positive development. Now you have connected this to the question. Let me give you an example. First of all, promoting a product's novelty in advertising can aid companies in boosting brand recognition, right? So what are we talking about? We are talking about how promoting a product as new can help companies get more brand awareness, brand recognition. When businesses introduce a new product, they frequently spend money on marketing initiatives to generate buzz and raise consumer awareness, right? So we have explained it. Now I've given an example about Coca-Cola, not my experience. I don't own Coca-Cola, so it's not my experience. Coca-Cola is a brand that everybody knows about. Coca-Cola marketed Coke Zero as an innovative and unique product, highlighting its status as the first zero sugar soda with the same taste as original Coke. By emphasizing its novelty, Coca-Cola successfully etched the product and brands into the minds of its audience through their advertising campaigns. Generic example that everybody knows about. All right. Finally, in a nutshell, the product and brand get greater consumer recognition. This is my summary of the point, right? This is what I said in the paragraph. In a nutshell, the product and brand get greater consumer recognition, making this a positive development in the field of advertising. I have connected it to the question. It's a positive development. That is what they have asked. Do you understand? Where are they going to cut marks here? Where? Nowhere. Right? Then we come to another important points. I told you, right? That you need to use the proper cohesive devices, right? That you need to use the proper cohesive devices to show the connection between your points and your ideas. Okay. Where are the cohesive devices and how to use them? Now, this is your first body paragraph. So you need to show the examiner that this is your first body paragraph. So you say, first of all. Do you understand? Now, let me give you 4 cohesive devices that you can use in any body paragraph, right? In any essay that you write, so that you at the very least, have 4 cohesive devices in your answer. You can use more. And I have done videos before. And in my video course and in my classes, we teach you this, how to use cohesive devices in between your, in the middle of your paragraph. But I will give you 4 cohesive devices that anybody can use for any essay, right? And you can get marks. So in your first body paragraph, when you're starting, you can say, first of all, right? First of all, or you can say, to begin with. Any of those are fine. When you're writing this one, the explanation, you can say, to explain this further, right? To explain this further. When you're giving this, the example, you can say, for example, right? And finally, when you're giving the conclusion, you can say, in summary, right? First body paragraph. Now, if your second body paragraph, right, agrees with the first, that means, guys, now if both your body paragraphs are positive, you can say secondly, right? Or you can say furthermore, you can say moreover, right? When you're writing your topic sentence for the second body paragraph, right? Then you can say, to elaborate this in detail, right? To elaborate this in detail. Instead of, for example, you can say, for instance. Guys, why are we changing the vocabulary? Because we want to show the examiner that we have a broad vocabulary. We're not using the same cohesive devices. In a nutshell, right? Now, if your second body paragraph disagrees with the first, that means if you're writing an advantage and a disadvantage, advantage in the first paragraph, disadvantage in the second paragraph, you can't say secondly. That will be wrong, right? What can you say? You need to say, however, on the contrary, right? On the flip side, the rest can be the same. To elaborate this in detail, for instance, in a nutshell, right? Guys, if you all use these 8 cohesive devices in your 2 body paragraphs, that's more than enough. Okay, but of course, if you use more, your chances of getting a higher band score are high. But these 8 cohesive devices, 4 for the first body paragraph, 4 for the second body paragraph, more than enough, guys. More than enough. Okay. I hope you understand very clearly what we are talking about. Now, first we spoke about the introduction. Paraphrase the fact-based statement, right? Give your opinion and write the structure of the remaining essay. That's your introduction. Then body paragraph. If every body paragraph, guys, if your body paragraph does not have 4 sections, then it's wrong. Then you need to rewrite it. Have this structure in your mind. If you have this structure, you write according to this structure, you use the correct cohesive devices, guys, there is no way that you can't get to a band 7+ score. Your grammar has to be on point. All right, that's obvious. But outside of that, this is everything you need to do. Okay, so this is your first body paragraph. Same way you write a second body paragraph using the cohesive devices. Guys, if you keep those cohesive devices in mind, first of all, to explain this, for example, in summary, that means you already have memorized the parts. Whatever essay you get, you just have to write these 4 things. These are not 4 sentences, but these are 4 sections. All right. Now the explanation, it can be more than 1 sentence. The example can be more than 1 sentence, multiple sentences. It's not a problem at all. All right. But trust me, if you write these 4 sections properly, your word count is a walk in the park. Right. Simple. So I hope you understand this. All right. So this is the full body paragraph 1. So everything I've just given here, I've rewritten it here. All right. This is the second one, right? Furthermore, promoting. So furthermore, now the moment the examiner sees this particular cohesive device, he knows, this fellow has written 2 body paragraphs that agree with the question. Right. Now, if this was, however, that means I have disagreed. I have written to the other side. Do you understand? So the examiner clearly knows when you have the right cohesive devices, it's very easy for the examiner. So I just wanted to prove the point here. It's not just 1 sentence you write, right? You can write multiple sentences, okay, to meet the word count. Okay, and just elaborate, guys. Enjoy this essay. Okay, enjoy this essay. So I've given the cohesive devices, but I've given it in the chat box as well. One thing to keep in mind is that every body paragraph should only have 1 point. If you're saying the sales and revenue is being increased, then only elaborate on that. Give an example for that, right? Don't try to write 2-3 points because you'll get confused. You don't know what example to use. Examiners are also thinking, there is no coherence here. There is no connectivity here. I am not going to give marks. Do you understand? Very simple. Very simple theory. Right? One paragraph, 1 point. Okay. Guys, finally, you have the conclusion, the overall conclusion. The conclusion, when you are starting, always start with in conclusion. There are other cohesive devices that you can use, right? You can say in a nutshell, in summary, whatever you want to use, you can use. But we would have used them to conclude our body paragraph. So in your first body paragraph, you would have said in a nutshell. In your second body paragraph, you would have said in summary, right? So the final concluding paragraph, you can say in conclusion, right? The final body paragraph, the final concluding paragraph, you can just say in conclusion. Okay. Someone has said that I am not audible. Is that true? Can you hear me? Can someone say yes or no? Okay. Kavinka says yes. So then Salma, I think that's some issue on your end, right? Because everyone else is saying yes. Yeah, Salma, I think it's a problem on your end, right? Because everyone else is saying can hear. So I think you can log out and log in. That might help. All right. Okay. The conclusion is what we were talking about. When you are starting your conclusion, always start with in conclusion. That's the best one to use. You can use others. There's nothing wrong about it. but in conclusion, it's just easy to remember. How do you write the conclusion? Very simple. The opinion that you wrote at the beginning of your answer, you write again at the end. That's the first sentence of your concluding paragraph. Look at how wonderful this is. We have gone the full circle, guys. We have gone the full circle. At the beginning, we said this was a positive development. Now at the end, we are saying it's a positive development. What is the examiner going to cut marks for? Absolutely nothing, right? There is no reason. Once you have written your personal view, once you have written your opinion, you write the reasons and details for that opinion. Now, don't think, what are the reasons and details? This is just the summary of your body paragraphs. Reasons and details means summary of your body paragraphs. Do you understand? You write your personal opinion. That's the first sentence of your conclusion. Then you summarize your body paragraph points. Okay. And finally, you have a closing. You can have a call to action, right? Or you can just have a very strong closing sentence. That's it. All right. Have a look at this one. To sum up. Now, I have said to sum up, but we can say in conclusion, right? To sum up, I believe, this is my opinion, right? I believe that presenting a product as innovative can have positive outcomes for companies. It's positive. That's what I said at the beginning. Now I'm saying it again. It not only enhances their market share, but also spreads awareness about the product to a larger audience and creates a sense of accountability for the company to fulfill its promises. This is my summary of the body paragraphs. My closing sentence is, as long as the company delivers a product of high quality, I am of the opinion that this marketing strategy can be highly effective for any organization. Beautiful. It's beautiful, guys. We have started at one point. We have come to the end. We have come the full circle. It's a circle, right? We said this is a positive outcome. We showed why that was. We explained, we gave points, examples, everything. And now we have come to the end. We said because of these reasons, this is a positive outcome. This is the perfect structure to write your essay at the IELTS exam. You go with the structure, you use these cohesive devices and then some more, right? For added benefit for you. You have quality vocabulary in your answer. You have the right grammar, right punctuation, and guaranteed there is no way you can get less than 7.5. Okay. If you follow this exact structure with this exact cohesive devices, right? But your grammar is horrible, you'll still get a band 6 and above. With terrible grammar. I've had people with terrible grammar get up to band 6, right? But they followed this exact structure, used these exact words. Only those. If you can use more, if your English is good and you can use good cohesive devices, right? You're sorted. We teach you more cohesive devices in the class, but of course, guys, we have also done videos on this. You can check out our YouTube channel as well, right? We have done videos on the cohesive devices you can use too. Okay, something for you to keep in mind. I promised you that I would also tell you how to generate ideas for these different essays, right? And outside of that, right, I also told you that we would discuss the types of essays, okay? So before we get to the types of essays, let me just give you a reminder that you need to send the webinar code to this number or even on the group, right? Just you can even drop it on the group. It doesn't matter. You don't have to send it to this number. Just drop it on the group. This guy will contact you. Ashane will contact you. The code is, I nearly said it out loud. It should have defeated the purpose of this. This is the code, guys. You have to send the code today. Tomorrow, it's not valid. We are not accepting. Today, you have to send it. We have only 20 slots available. We don't take more than 20 people per class because we like to give you personalized attention. We like to give feedback to all your essays. We like to give feedback to all your speeches, right? Therefore, we are only taking 20 people. So confirm your spot today. You don't have to pay today. but you can just confirm your spot. That's it. Okay, that's it. All right. Okay, guys, before we talk about the types of essays, let me quickly give you some tips as to how you can generate ideas for essays. Okay. Most people, for you, learning the structure, now you know it. I have taught you, you know the structure, you know the cohesive devices. Very easy. Where a lot of people struggle is that they don't have ideas, right? Now, when you take a question like this, right, some people feel that entertainers, sports stars, film stars, singers are paid too much money. How many of you have actually sat and thought about a topic like this? Have you spoken with a friend about this kind of topic? Have you had a debate with someone about this kind of topic? What are the examples you're going to use? Most people don't have good examples. Most people don't have ideas, and that is why they can't meet the relevant word count. That is why they can't write a proper essay. They have no ideas. That is sad, right? That is the reality. So how can you generate ideas? How can you broaden your knowledge so that you can write an answer like this? Very simple. One thing is, you can find out the IELTS essay writing themes, and you can watch videos and podcasts about these different themes. Okay, you have entertainment, you have sports, you have economy, right? All of these things. If you purchase our study pack, we have given you themes, right? You just go on YouTube, search for a podcast on this theme, right? And you just listen to it while you're jogging, while you're gymming at the gym, while you're driving your car, while you're going to work. You can plug your earphones, just listen to a podcast. This will give you ideas, right? This will give you ideas that will help you write your essay. Do you understand? And then outside of that, the best thing, guys, the best possible thing that you can do, there is no other way. Other teachers will tell you, listen, read, whatever. But there is no way that trumps this one method. What is that method? Actually have a debate with someone about this topic. Do you understand? Tell one of your friends, let's say my good friend is Sandun Mali, right? Let's just assume Sandun Mali and I are good friends, right? I just say, hey, Sandun Mali, I'm doing the IELTS exam. I would like to have a conversation with you about this topic, right? I want you to talk positively. I will talk negatively about this topic, right? And you just have a conversation. When you have that conversation, you find out new things that you didn't even know. You're forced to think of point. Now, if Sandun Mali is beating me in that argument, I don't want to lose. I'm going to find out information so that I can beat her. Right? And now I'm finding out new information. Do you understand what I mean? Talking about it and debating about it is the best possible way for you to generate ideas. You will remember it, guys. You will remember it. Right? So we are also planning to launch a podcast talking about different IELTS essay topics. But, for those of you who are doing the exam in May or even the beginning of June, we are planning to launch in June. So might be too late for you, but that's the best way, guys. That is the best way that you can generate ideas for your essay. Okay. Watch podcasts, gather knowledge, and then debate with someone. Okay. Different topics, different themes, so that you have examples and knowledge for everything. Okay. All right. Now we are going to talk about the types of essays. Okay. This is very short and simple. First, you have agree or disagree type questions. If you see this word or, right, that means you only have to write for one side. Either you agree or you disagree. Okay, you can't agree and disagree. You can only agree or disagree. So agree, if you agree, 2 body paragraphs to agree. If you disagree, 2 body paragraphs to disagree. Do you understand? Right? This is divided into two. You have extent type questions or direct agree or disagree. If they say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Still, there is no difference, right? You say, I agree with this statement more than I disagree. So only two paragraphs you need to write about agree. Don't write about disagree. This is just two different ways of asking the question. There is no change in the meaning, right? Here it means koitak durakatада oba ekanga ho ekanga novenni. Right? So no difference. Both these things same. If they say or, you select one side and you write two examples, two paragraphs for that one side. If you see this word and, advantages and disadvantages, then you have to write both. Okay. But here also, sometimes they might give a question like this: positive or negative development. Now, when you see this or word, select only one side. Just remember it that way. Okay. If you see or, select one side. If you see and, select both. Okay. So if they say positive or negative, you say it's positive, write two paragraphs for positive. If it's negative, you write two paragraphs for negative. Okay. If they say advantages and disadvantages, one body paragraph is for advantages, one body paragraph for disadvantages. Now people ask me, sir, they are saying advantages and disadvantages. Do I have to write two advantages and two disadvantages? No. Don't worry about, it being in plural. You can write one advantage and one disadvantage. More than enough. Clear? Then you have, these are tricky question, outweigh type questions. Outweigh type questions. Are the advantages or do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? There are two ways to write this answer. Okay, there are two ways to write this answer. Listen carefully. One way is you can say, yes, the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. Therefore, I will highlight two benefits. So you only write two benefits. Clear? Or you can say, yes, the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. Let me outline two benefits and one disadvantage. There you're writing three body paragraphs. Two benefits, one advantage. Clear? Not mandatory. If you want, you can just write two benefits. You still get the same amount of marks. This is just to show that you have better ideas and you have better vocabulary to elaborate. No, don't worry if you can't write three. All right. Either write two benefits only or write two benefits and one disadvantage. Okay. That's how you answer this type of question. Finally, you have problem and solution. Okay. Problem and solution. Here you will get two types of questions. Solution only. Very simple. They will ask you a question and say, what are the solutions? You just write two solutions, two body paragraphs, done. This again is a bit tricky. Problem and solution. Two ways to write this. Okay. First, you write in one body paragraph, you write the problem. In the second body paragraph, you write the solution. That's the first way. Okay. So how many problems and solutions we are outlining? Only one. One problem, one solution. However, you can be smart and you can write one problem and the solution to that problem in the first body paragraph. The second problem and the solution to that problem in the second body paragraph. Do you understand? Do you understand? Either, now what happens in the first way, only one problem and one solution. So problem in the first body paragraph, solution in the second body paragraph. The second method is you write a problem and the solution to that problem in the first body paragraph, second problem and the solution to that in the second body paragraph. Okay, tamai iyana vidhi deka. Right? Then you have discuss type questions. This is an amazing type of question, guys. Right? Very easy because they have given two sides and they say discuss both these views and give your opinions. The best way to do this is you select one side. That is your opinion. So first body paragraph is on your opinion. The next one is the other opinion. Okay. If you want, you can write 2 body paragraphs for your opinion and 1 body paragraph for the other opinion. That is up to you, depending on how good you are and how much time you have. Otherwise, just 1 body paragraph for your opinion, 1 for the other one. Always make sure to highlight what is your opinion. Clear? Always highlight what is your opinion, but both have to be discussed. If you only write your opinion, you're wrong. Both have to be written. Is that clear? Right. Then you have direct questions. Okay, this is again very easy. They have given you 2 questions, right? You just have to select this question and write 2 paragraphs according to that. Why is it important to take care of them? That's your first body paragraph. How should we take care of them? That is your second body paragraph. It's a very clear-cut question. Clear? These are called direct questions. So this is your first body paragraph. This is your second body paragraph. Is that clear? Right? Very simple. All right, guys, with that, we are done with today's essay writing webinar. I hope you learned something valuable today. Not that I hope. I know you learned something valuable today, because if you implement this structure at your IELTS exam, guys, definitely you will be able to go for a high band score. All right. So I will send you the code again today, right? You need to send us the code on the group. I see a lot of people on the group dropping the code, right? No problem. Send it on the group. We'll reach out to you, right? And you will get the 20% discount when you pay for the class before the 9th of May. All right. If you have any questions, now is the time. Someone has asked, what are the best podcast channels on YouTube? It's like this. When we launch our podcast, of course, our one is the best. So subscribe to the Success Academy for sure. But outside of that, you have the Joe Rogan podcast, which is great. I love it. Right? The Joe Rogan podcast. I love listening to it, right? Especially when I'm driving, when I'm working out. It's very nice to listen to, very knowledgeable, very good points, very good stories, very interesting stories they talk about. The Jay Shetty podcast is nice, right? There's a podcast called CEO Cast. It's nice. There's another one called Chris Williamson, right? Who has the Modern Wisdom podcast, right? Then you also have Diary of a CEO, right? Diary of a CEO. Okay, these are just some examples, right? These are just some examples of podcasts that you can listen to. But guys, listening to podcasts is great. It will give you better ideas, better stories. It's just interesting to listen to. You will improve your language. All of these amazing benefits by listening to podcasts. All right. Sanojan is asking, sir, won't they reduce marks for writing more than one advantage and disadvantage? No. Why would they reduce marks? They won't reduce marks. If you want, you can write more than one advantage and one disadvantage. But like I said, it's not necessary. It's not necessary, right? Just keep that in mind. All right, guys, if there are no other questions, we will wrap up the session for today. Let us know your feedback on the group, right? Let us know what you thought of the webinar. If you thought it was valuable to you, if it was useful to you, right? Please reach out to us on the webinar and let us know your feedback. All right. Let us know your feedback. So with that, guys, we are done for today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned, and looking forward to see you in our classes. All right. Have a great one, guys. Good night.